Sounds good? Okay. Well, thank you everyone for being here today. Obviously, a lot of us are paying close attention to the wildfire just outside of Rapid City, the first Thunder Fire. First, I just want to say thank you to everybody working hard on the front lines. They've been working tirelessly since it started yesterday. I think a little after 6 p.m. it was called in, and folks have been out there working hard from various agencies at the state level, the county level, and the local level here in Rapid City. So I just first of all just want to thank everybody. Just know that there are people working around the clock tackling this fire, and its close proximity to structures and where people live. And of course, the city of Rapid City has us on alert. And just so you know, there has been great communication throughout to make sure that we know what's going on and that the resources are there to tackle this fire. We know that there are people that are just working through bitter heat, and that's the challenge with this, from what I'm told, is the dry air combined with the high heat really brings very little relief. And so it takes a ton of effort just to try to set up the defensive line to try to contain the fire. And obviously our folks are doing a great job working on that. The other thing is communication is so important. I was talking to somebody recently today, talked about in the absence of communication, other people will fill the void. And so we're here today to make sure you're not filling the void, but that you're filled with facts, and that the facts will help you make good decisions. And here's the truth. The fire is serious. There's no reason to panic. There's no reason to freak out just yet, but there is reason to be prepared. And so right now we have an evacuation warning in several areas, and I believe we can talk about that here just momentarily. We know right now about 170 acres have been burned up and continues to grow. But in that evacuation warning, it's not an evacuation order just yet. So with the warning, that means to be prepared. Thankfully, we have a great city-county partnership with emergency management that has a lot of great resources on the Pennington County website. Go to penco.gov and you can find emergency management, all sorts of things. One thing I want to make sure I point out today, since I've told you this is serious, you need to make plans. What are the plans that you need to make? Well, one of them is just to identify the things you would need to take with you. So first of all, your people, your family members, the people that live in your household. Make sure that they know what the plan is, know where to go, where to be. Also look after your pets. We have Dexter the dog here representing the pets. Thankfully, Central States Fair have stepped up. If you have livestock or large animals, you will be welcomed in an evacuation situation to use the Central States Fairgrounds. In addition, Black Hills Animal Hospital has offered services to domestic and small animals as well. Two, papers, your important paperwork, obviously social security cards, birth certificates, those sorts of things to make sure that you have those. Three, your personal needs, the things that you need to kind of get you through the day. Four, your prescriptions. Obviously, many folks depend on prescriptions. You need to have that ready to go, put it in a bag. And five, your priceless items, obviously pictures, memorabilia, things like that. But the fact of the matter is, and we'll have Dustin Willett from Emergency Management come up here shortly, you have to have a plan and you got to be ready to go, and you have to know where to go. So if you have friends or family that are in this area of Southwest Rapid City and just outside there, reach out to them. If they need a place to stay, I hope that our community will welcome them with open arms, if it comes to that. But we will do everything in our power. We have great folks to make sure that we try to contain this as much as possible, but a lot of things, a lot of variables are out there. Wind, weather changes, all sorts of things can happen, and we know that the conditions are ripe for it to take a turn. So I don't want to give you false optimism, but I am an optimist. I'm hopeful, and we'll continue to pray for the best, and I encourage the entire community to pray for the best in this situation, but also to plan in case it takes a bad turn. It's never a good idea to be caught by surprise. We know this is here, and there is time to make preparations and to plan and make sure you checked on your loved ones as well. From the City of Rapid City standpoint, we will do everything we can with our fire department and our police department, as well as our partnership here with emergency management, which is a city-county partnership once again. I will tell you that Canyon Lake, the area is going to be blocked off for now. They're going to use that water to help, obviously bring water to the fire, so you're not allowed in the lake. We would also ask you, we know there's a lot of curiosity about this fire, to please stay away from where the professionals are. Let them do their work. We do not need a ton of traffic in and around while they're trying to do their work, because they're going to be worried about you when they got to worry about this fire too, and it creates all sorts of complications. And so for those of us who do not need to be there, let's not be there. Let those who are going to fight and confront this fire on the front lines do their job and have ease of access. So that's just a few things. I'll close it out after everybody's said and done, but I wanted to just take a moment and invite folks up here. So when you come up here, if you would introduce yourself and who you're with, so that the media and the public can know what your titles are and what you're doing, that'd be great. Dustin, I would like to start with you. Dustin Willett, he leads up our emergency management. I mean, he has done a tremendous job. His day job, this is what he thinks of all the time, are situations just like this. And if we execute the plans that he's put in place, we will have a much better rate of success. So Dustin, the floor is yours.
Thanks so much, Mayor. Dustin Willett, I'm the Director of Rapid City Pennington County Emergency Management. This community is no stranger to wildfire. This is not the first time we've been in this fight. This is not the first time we've seen this threat. And what that means more than anything else is we have built the relationships, the capabilities, the tools to address this threat. And it would be hard for me to stand here and plug one particular thing without stepping on everybody else's resources that they're bringing to the table. Almost everything I could talk about is going to be represented by the public safety partners that are here today, because we work so well together. From the federal level to the state level to the local level, the volunteer fire departments that were working hand in hand with the state yesterday when the fire broke out, all throughout today. It is incredible the level of coordination and cooperation that we see, especially in the wildland arena in our county and our city. So we're very, very grateful for that. From an emergency management perspective, again, this is a threat we know, this is a threat we face, this is a threat we've planned for and built capability for. So we have plans. And you're seeing some of those plans enacted right now. An evacuation warning area, as the mayor alluded to, is just that. It's a chance to prepare. Sometimes, if you're in a motor vehicle accident, you have milliseconds, and then the event happens. We actually have the luxury right now of knowing that there's a threat, and we actually have the luxury of being able to prepare a little bit. So as the mayor indicated, some of those items, and you can find checklists all over the internet. You can find checklists on our website as well. But we have time to prepare. You have time to gather those items. You have time to check in on your loved ones. You have time to get your pets, your animals together. So the evacuation warning is just that. It is a heads up. It is a call to action, not to evacuate, but to be prepared to evacuate. So you're seeing those plans in action. One question that we fielded is what happens if there are actual evacuation orders put in place? What happens if the incident command team that's running the fire says, hey, these people need to get out of this area? It's not just going to be a Facebook post. It's not just going to be an update on the Public Safety Hub. If we get to the point where evacuation orders are called for, we will leverage all of our alert and warning technology. So we have the integrated public alert and warning system from FEMA, the cell phone alerts, everything that we have to alert the public will be leveraged if there is an evacuation order. Now, those are very targeted alerts. We don't alert the whole city. We just alert the part of the city, the citizens that are directly affected. But we have those tools. We have that plan. We've prepared for that, and we're ready to enact that if the situation requires it. So I don't want to take up too much more time. We have plans. They're being well executed. We've got incredible partners, incredible public safety in this area. and my office stands ready to again make sure that we're updating the public through the Public Safety Hub. You can see the evacuation warning area on that. You can see the road closures as we put them on that. Any other closures and resources that come through, we try to update that Public Safety Hub to keep the public well informed. And rest assured that should things escalate, we're ready to step in with additional parts and processes of that plan and our alert and warning system. Thank you. You want to stand for questions right away or just go through? Absolutely. Should we just go in that way? So, all right.
Good afternoon. I'm Craig Wood. I'm with the Pennington County Sheriff's Office, and today I would like to talk to you about the priorities from the Sheriff's Office when there is a fire, and that would be road closures and evacuations. So I'll start off with road closures just so you know the roads that we're currently working on. So it'd be Victoria Lake Road from Sheridan Lake Road to Taylor Ranch Road, Norseman Lane, Falling Rock Road, and Buzzards Roost. So the reason why we have these roads blocked off is so that the fire people, firefighters, and all their assets can freely navigate those areas and take care of business of putting this fire out. So you'll not be able to travel those roads. So I will move on to evacuations. So if the evacuation order does come, so you're going to get all those notifications that were just spoken about, but you'll also get some knocks on the door from public safety people. So we have, we call this a door hanger, and we will end up putting this on your door or handing you this flyer. That is our goal, is to get to every residence that is in the evacuation vicinity. But we might not be able to get to every house, just depending on how fast the fire is moving and everything that's going on. So I would recommend you to go to penco.org Public Safety Hub to get the latest information for that. So something else will happen if we get the evacuation order is that deputies or other law enforcement or public safety professionals will put a piece of yellow tape on your mailbox or an object close to your driveway or to your residence. And the reason why we'll do that is so that we don't keep going to the same residence again and again. We know we've been there. So I guess I would ask, if the evacuation order does come out, that you please comply and have your stuff ready to go and get yourself and your family out of your residence as soon as possible. So, standing for any questions, Mayor?
At the end, let's let everybody.
Yes, sir.
Give some updates and take questions. Jerome, you want to go next?
Jerome Harvey, Fire Administrator, Pennington County, South Dakota. Specifically concerning the fire and what's going on with it, our force multipliers of our volunteer firefighters first arriving on scene, along with the excellent communications we have with our dispatch center here, definitely is making the difference. The legacy investment that the taxpayers have put in to support this system is paying off. The fire did remain active last night, burned throughout the evening in drought-stressed vegetation, steep inaccessible terrain, and continue to burn active throughout the day. But we've made great progress. The firefighters on the ground and all of the resources that are in here from across the country have made great progress on the fire today, working towards containment of it. It is very visible. It's visible from a long distance, and that's supplemented, of course, by some of our media partners with some of their capabilities. So again, it's something to keep an eye on, but everybody is putting all hands to the pump and continuing to work on the fire itself. So we've made great progress throughout the day. Specifically, concerning Western South Dakota and living here in the Black Hills of South Dakota. And again, Western South Dakota, you got to get used to the fire regime that we live with here. We live in an area that is a red zone, and you need to be prepared for that. Whether you're a lifetime resident or somebody who's moved into the area recently, you've got to get used to and be ready and be prepared, like the mayor is saying. These kind of events can happen on a year-round basis. There strictly is no longer a defined fire season. Fire season can occur here on a year-round basis. So you need to be prepared for yourself, protect yourself and your family. Again, great progress on the fire today. Our firefighters, our volunteers, along with our federal and state partners, our career personnel, will continue to work on the fire throughout the next several days and work towards containment of it. Thank you.
Got to lower the microphone just a tad bit. Thanks, Jerome. Fire Chief Jason Culberson, Rapid City Fire. Not much else can be said other than what our partners over here said, but just know that we are ready and ready to respond. Dustin's put together a great plan, and we are ready to be that and be there to assist them. We have some fantastic people on the fire already. Pennington County Volunteer Fire Departments, we have a unit out there. They're all in the fight. I can't say it enough. Please stay out of the area. It's very difficult for us to maneuver around there. It's very steep, very rugged area. So in order for us to get around, we need to take those roads, and everybody needs to stay out of there. I know it's awesome to go take a look at a fire, and it's something you haven't seen, but it is very important to stay away from those areas. As far as the threat to Rapid City, yes, it is in the county, outside of our jurisdiction, but understand we're in constant communication, obviously through Dustin and emergency management, but I've spoken with Jerome a couple times already, and I've been in contact with Rob Powell with the state of South Dakota. And I know that once the incident management team takes over, they'll be in constant communication with the city relaying information. I know some frustration has been about the information flow. We're doing our best. It's difficult to get that information as it's evolving so quickly, but trust that those that needed to know, knew, and they were being informed as quick as they could. Please watch all of our social media pages. I know our public information officer's been putting it out. The state of South Dakota informed me to watch the Pennington County Sheriff's Office Facebook page for further updates and information. But you have some of the best, hardest working, brightest people out on this fire, and they are working hard and diligently and are going to work hard to make that go away. We're hopeful that the weather maintains. We thought there was going to be a little bit of a wind event this morning that didn't happen, so that's a positive. That always helps. The air assets on scene, I don't think I've seen this many in a long time show up to western South Dakota and get ahead. So just entrust in that, and that we have it, we're doing our best, and we're working hard to make that go away. Oh, and I'll go, do you want to talk, Scott? Sure. Okay. All right, I was going to take your 2 seconds.
Oh, go ahead. No.
Oh, all right, I was just going to throw it in there. You're ready.
Okay.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Scott Sitz. I'm the Assistant Chief for the Rapid City Police Department. And really, I can just echo what everyone else has already said. I just want to assure you we have the best equipment, the best staff addressing this issue that's possible. The Rapid City Police Department's involvement so far has been minimal. However, we are staffed and we are ready to be a force multiplier for the Sheriff's Office with evacuations, road closures, whatever is needed. We stand ready and willing to go and assist. Again, I would echo the message about following the barricades. Please don't cross the barricades. Those barricades are up for a reason. It's to allow personnel to move freely. Right now, the Rapid City Police Department is at Canyon Lake Park, and we ask that you don't go out on the water. Leave that free for the helicopter to get in there and get the water as necessary. But again, just want to assure you the best staff possible is on the scene, and they're addressing it quickly.
Then we'll open it up to questions if you have some, but as you can tell, folks are working hard. They're working together. That's been the case this whole time. And, our point again today is to make sure you have the information and make sure that we don't just wait to give the information, because we know that people are talking. And just so you know, it's on our mind. Excuse me. We have great folks working on things, and we were not caught by surprise. Instead, we activated a plan that existed already, and it's underway now. So with that, I will open up to any questions that media members or any of you in the audience may have. Yep, go ahead and use that microphone, because we have people watching online so they can hear your question, and whoever it's for too.
Sure. Chris Dancy, News Center 1. Jerome, I know you've had a long day. Sorry to make you stand, but questions for you. First of all, I wonder if we could get a little more of at 9 o'clock or so this morning, you provided a detailed outlook on where things are. I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about the containment lines to the north. You had mentioned that you were going to be working on containment lines to the south. Just sort of an update on where we are as of 3:15 this afternoon.
All the efforts, dependent on our weather conditions, Chris, as you're familiar with the weather, and appreciate the support that we've been getting from your office as far as the weather. But everything that's been going on today is reinforce those containment lines and go as direct with the fire as possible. Anybody can look on any type of a modern map and see how steep and accessible some of this terrain is, and we have people actually working in that. I mentioned about the air assets that are in supporting that and reinforcing those lines. And as far as specifics, as far as where they're at and where they're going with it, at this point in time, I don't have that specific information, but the lines that we talked about, such as the Dark Canyon area up above Dark Canyon, has been reinforced, and the lines that are in the southwest part of the fire in anticipation of that wind shift. And then with the lessening of the winds, not having as quite as severe winds as we had this morning, did allow forces to go direct with the fire, which is always a positive.
Okay, and one other question. Chief Culberson mentioned the air assets that we've got, and several of you have talked about staying clear. I'm assuming it would be a bad idea for people to put drones up to try to see as
For
well.
God's sakes, people, do not put a drone up in a TFR on a fire like this. Tessa, I'm sorry, but don't put a drone up. You put a drone up and you'll ground all of our air assets. It's safety for the pilot, safety for the people that are in the air, and safety for people on the ground, and that will automatically ground those assets that are in here, those resources that are in here now, trying to help the people, trying to contain the fire and get it where we can control it. The minute a drone goes up, those things are going to the ground and will be grounded until the air can be cleared. So
Okay.
please don't get any wild ideas about trying to become a YouTube hero and put up a drone. That'll ground those assets.
All right, thank you.
Jerome, coming in hot. That's a good message. I like that. Coming in hot. That's the name of your book. All
Ready?
right.
Yeah, Adrian Carbajal, Dakota Territory News. I guess for the sheriff's office, I was at the 11 o'clock meeting earlier. What I wanted to know was then they didn't have any location for people that if they were evacuated to go to. Has there been an update in the last couple hours to maybe see where they would be relocated to in case of an emergency?
Dustin,
Whoever, yeah, I'm sorry. There was earlier was a sheriff, so.
Dustin Will again, Pennington County Emergency Management. So one of the first calls this morning was with one of our partner organizations, the American Red Cross. We partner with them for but most of our sheltering and reception center needs. Spoke with Red Cross staff early this morning, and the first thing we would do if an evacuation order is actually generated is we establish what's called a reception center. It's not a full-blown shelter. It's a place for people to come and check in and gives us a good barometer on what the needs in the community might be for long-term sheltering, whether or not we need to stand up an actual shelter, whether or not we can get by with some hotel rooms. There's various ways, various models that we can employ to make sure that people have a roof over their head. But that conversation happened early this morning with our partners that are involved in that. Exactly which facility, the American Red Cross and my office have some agreements with facilities, a lot of faith-based facilities across the community. We're not going to impact the school system. The schools are there doing the job that they need to be doing. So more than likely we would use a faith-based institution, and determining exactly which one we would stand up for a reception center is going to depend on what areas may be required to be evacuated. So once we knew what that evacuation order was, part of that messaging would be where that reception center is and any follow-on sheltering that needs to occur. So can I tell you specifically what address that facility is going to be at? No. But is that being thought about and addressed and prepped and planned for? Absolutely. So should that eventuality come to pass, that answer will be provided when we message out to the public.
Perfect. And I don't know who would be able to answer this next question, but I was actually there earlier and saw some of the planes dropping off some water, and we saw a couple hikers in the area. What can you tell us about, we're trying to make sure people stay out of the area, but of course people are going to want to hike and enjoy the Black Hills. What would you tell any hikers at all? I mean, stay out of the area completely because people are still trying to make their way in there.
Good afternoon again. So the message would be if we see any hikers in the area, we would absolutely appreciate a phone call so we could contact them and get them out as soon as possible because we don't want people in that area and there's just a lot going on. And if you think you would want to hike into that area just to see what's going on, please do not do that. So no hikers in the fire zone, please.
Potential penalties or anything like that for people that are caught in the area?
We would take it on a case-by-case basis and see what all the circumstances are on that.
Perfect. Awesome. Yeah, that would be the worst. And
That'd be
then,
the worst case scenario.
yes. And then last question. Earlier, I believe we said it was 150 acres. Now it's spread to 170. Is that the accurate number? 170? Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, the last update I got, unless there's a new one while we've been sitting here, was 170 acres. I think it's still zero containment, but I do believe they're working on that fire line, so I think that's going to be a big deal how that goes. But any other questions? Well, I just want to reassure the community once again that we have great folks working on the front lines. We ask that you continue to support them, continue to pray for them, and continue to stay out of their way and let them do their jobs. We want them all to return safely at home. We know that the fire impacts a lot of folks, hurts our air quality. Obviously, it's a threat to structure and people and wildlife and this beautiful Black Hills we call home. This is part of the price we pay for living in such a beautiful place is we might have to deal with situations like this. And we're very grateful, not just for the regional and state support, but it sounds like we've got support coming from all over the place, as we often do for other locations as well. That's the way we do things here in the United States often is we go and help, and we are grateful for those coming to help us. So once again, I want to give a special thank you to the state of South Dakota for their help, Pennington County for all their tireless efforts, and of course the city of Rapid City. And I think the volunteer fire departments, this is a great reminder of how important that is and why it's important for you, especially if you live out in the county or live in a rural area, to volunteer in your fire departments and be a part of helping things out. Their initial response was very important, and hearing that just as a reminder that yes, here in the city we have a fire department, but we live in a vast, beautiful area, and it takes people to help protect it. So thank you all for your tireless efforts, and thank you for your volunteering your time, and of course, risking yourselves on behalf of each and every one of us. So with that, God bless you all. We'll keep you posted if anything changes. The places to go, to people to talk to, but I wanted to make sure today that we got that information out. We are going to always monitor this. And just as a reminder, the areas of Rapid City that we're looking at for the city limits area, besides our neighbors, are in the southwest Rapid City. We're talking Countryside, Red Rocks area, High Point Ranch, potentially Chapel Valley, Carriage Hills, that sort of area. So just be mindful, pay attention. Don't take it for granted. Have a go bag ready. Have those plans ready. Make sure that you have a place to go and an evacuation route to get there. And make sure if you know somebody that lives in those areas, maybe it's somebody who's not tuned in to media or social media or anything like that, that you are reaching out to them and checking on them. Make sure that they're aware of what's going on. We want to make sure that everybody's safe. But in addition to all of that, we'll have people down on the ground making sure they can make contact with everybody affected in this area. So, all right. Thank you all very much.